Whoa, whoa, whoa. I apologize. I am very, very sorry that you got referred to that other me when you know how happy I am to provide appropriate compensation when necessary. Let me turn the light on so you feel a little more comfortable. Is that better? Can you see better? I know, I've gained a little weight, but actually I've lost a little weight since the last time I wore this. Don't worry, I'll be back in my appropriate form soon. No, I understand the level we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and accede to these terms. I know what you want. You want my British. Who doesn't? It's that good. So I'm going to give it to you. A History of Warfare. Field Marshal Viscount Montgomery Valmain. We've got a lot of pages in this book. How many? 564. That's at least, almost 2 years worth. If I read you one page a day, I think we'll be able to sustain some meaningful terms, don't you? I mean, it's at that level. Let's get right to the nature of war. War is not the concern of soldiers only. Throughout history, civilian life has always been affected by warfare. And in modern times, the higher direction of war has become the responsibility of politicians, who are themselves civilians and not professional soldiers, sailors, or airmen. Furthermore, in total war, industry and civilian energies are absorbed into the war effort. For these reasons, military history is inseparable from the general historical background, and the history of warfare is worth studying by everybody, both civilians and members of the fighting services. In this book, my emphasis will be upon methods and techniques, which include weapons, strategy and tactics, and leadership. Where more general historical factors are discussed, they will be those scientific, technological, social, economic, or political factors which have had a particular and definite influence on the course of the history of warfare. This is not meant to be a book of reference. My hope is that the reader will feel he is absorbed in a momentous and engrossing story. Therefore, my main task will be to indicate and discuss what is significant in wars, campaigns and battles, and the technological developments which characterize them, and the generals and men who fought them, and to comment where it seems appropriate on the basis of my own military experience. In this first chapter, I shall try to indicate the fundamentals of a subject about which the reader may know little, particularly if he is a civilian and has made no great study of military history or techniques. As man became more and more civilized, so wars became more and more frequent, and the fundamental matters emerged more clearly. Man's progress in all fields has been basically affected for good and for ill by the impact of armed conflict. The verdict of war being, time and again, a deciding factor in the process of historical change, though, of course, not the only one. It is impossible to study the history of warfare as if war has always existed in a vacuum. For example, William the Conqueror, as his name indicates, exercised his influence upon the history of England because of a successful war. As another example, I quote the suggestion made by some historians that the beginning of large-scale metal industries was due to a certain extent to the demand for cannon, though I must admit that others claim it was due to the need for church bells. Why do wars happen? Some will say that war is the child of civilization. Others that war stems from raw human nature. But one thing is clear. War has always been the arbiter when other methods of reaching agreement have failed. The judgment which it has given has been based on might rather than on right, although at times right has prevailed. Now, if you need it dirty, I have right here a book that I've been looking forward to getting to for some time with my partner or partners. I would appreciate it if you would honor the momentousness of this occasion. We should make sure we maintain appropriate standards for our mutual interest.